This is the K-Pop Cast, and in this week's episode, we're doing a deep dive into K-Pop at Coachella 2025.
We also share hit replays from EXO Kai's comeback solo mini album, Wait on Me.
But before we get into those topics, guys, don't forget to join the K-Pop Cast listener fam on Slack and help chip in for our show costs. Links to everything in the episode description.
And now for some hit replays. I'm DJ Peterlo.
I'm Stephanie.
And I'm your PD Nim, Michaela, guys, and hit replays are our K-pop song recommendations for the week. So, Peter, kick us off. What is your K-pop recommendation for the week, even though we already know what album it's coming from?
So my hit replay is Kai, Walls Don't Talk.
This is a battle I've been trying to fight for so. I hope the words don't talk. 아무도 모르게 거해는 걸다 shots 방해받지 않게. Let's hope the words don't talk.
And this is like the new K Tropical House song. It's not Cardical Tropical House, but it's like the same swimming lane of that beat.
Yes.
It's slow, mid-tempo, I guess, but what made this song stand out to me was like if you got like decent earbuds in your ears and you've got your eyes closed and you're riding the BART to work, hypothetically speaking, for a friend, it's his voice that stood out to me. And it was like those moments where there's like almost nothing else in the mix, where you just hear his voice and you can hear all the stacking of his voice. And I really appreciated the lower tones, like usually in the, not the chorus, but the verses in between where he goes lower again. So that's my hit replay. And it's got the fun tropical house drum fills. Stephanie, tell us your hit replay. What's your Kai song?
So I am pleased to highlight the title track of Kai's post-military comeback mini album. It is Wait on Me. If y'all were in the Slack participating in the chat and, you know, talking about Kai's comeback, you'll know that I was a little underwhelmed by Adult Swim, the pre-release. We were talking about, are we going to review Kai's album at all? I was like, man, if everything's like Adult Swim, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm in. And Michaela said, have faith. Stephanie, stray not, because black hair Kai will return. He will resurrect after 3 days.
Wow, just coming
this
off
is
of
Easter week.
weekend.
I know.
Yeah,
exactly. It went really religious there. But y'all were right. Kai has delivered a sexy Afrobeats title track. He is sexy in the video. He's got his dark hair back. He's got like a braided mullet kind of thing going on. I enjoyed the music video, the cinematography. There's some like angles shot off from the side and from a distance that feel, you know, artistic and satisfying to me. And I would love to be at a K-pop party and have this played. If only I knew K-pop DJs who
this Wednesday, Stephanie, we'll
might be able to make that happen in like 2 days from now at the
Yeah.
K-pop and throwbacks party. So basically, I say this about the whole mini album. I would love to have it be playing like while I'm at a lounge or a bar. Like that would be really fun for me. And also the lyrics of this, it's kind of like a message from someone avoidantly attached. or like someone who wants more of a slow burn romance, like, hey, let's not jump into anything. You know, if we let these feelings erupt, then it will just take us over. And I kind of like that message going into the summer. I'm here for it. I was gonna say, like, a gripe I have with it is that they are relying on the same kind of beat that other K-pop songs have done over the past year or two. It sounds so much like the 17 song TXT. It sounds like Easy. No, not Easy. Smart. And I wish they would either pick a new bass beat or they would do something lyrically like melodically different on top of it. I'm really tired of the yeah. I'm over it. But other than that, there's some really other fun parts, like the verses for me.
I don't know. I'm never gonna get old of that tempo.
Yeah.
That's never gonna get sick on me. But I think what also stands out to me about the song "Wait on Me" is just like all the like theatrical dancing. You know, it's almost like the dancers become one as this like writhing body together in the background. So I think that's the other thing that really stands out to me about this song.
Yes, choreography by the one and only Bada Lee, who is known for her very powerful striking moves. I think she did a little too much on this. Like, let me enjoy one move before moving on to the fifth one. But very impressive dancing by Kai and the other dancers for sure.
Okay, Stephanie.
Yes.
Kai changes his eye color several times.
He does.
In this video. Which is your favorite? What's your favorite color?
I mean, I like him looking natural. I like the brown eyes and the dark hair. That's his look for me. The blue eyes was freaking me out. It's very blue eyes, white dragon.
What is that a reference to something? I'm not getting
yes.
it.
Yu-Gi-Oh fans, stand up.
Oh, okay. That's not one I get. That's like a Charizard card sort of thing.
Yes.
How do you do, fellow kids? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Come on, Peter. You're a millennial.
I know. All right. Should we hand it over to PD Nim?
Yes. What's your hit replay?
Wrapping it up with the best hit replay from the album, of course. We're talking about Ridin'. This one for me, like I said, Stephanie, I said to have faith in Kai. Have faith that he is going to put out a sexy summer album.
Yeah.
And basically his version of Doja Cat's Woman from 2021.
Yes.
And I specifically get that feeling the most with this song because again, it's got those like alien superstar synths mixed with those like dance hall like drum and bass techno beats in the back room.
Pressure sounds like that too.
It just like really comes together really nice. And this one was the one I was most anticipating for because what is it? Warren OK Feder and also Duckworth were producers on this song, and those are one Warren, he's worked with so many like R&B like from Brandy to Kehlani, just to name a few. So I knew I had faith that he at least had some good cooks in the kitchen for this song at least. Mm-hmm. So it had to be my favorite play from the album.
Yeah, this is a fun one. I enjoyed it. Even if like we've heard these beats before, it still sounds fresh with Kai doing it.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of writers, just to like bump back to my hit replay for a bit, songwriters include Bang Hae-yeon, who wrote aespa hits like Armageddon and Drama, Jacob Aaron, who wrote In Hypen's Blessed Curse and P1 Harmony Killing It. So those are all songs on my hit replay list. So not surprised that those beat makers and songwriters are involved in this album.
Mm-hmm. But I will say though, my quibble I think with a lot of not majority of the songs, I think, is just the way that his voice sounds on it, because I feel like there's a lot of vocal processing that makes it sound like choppy and almost kind of like vocaloidy. Like that's the best way I can describe it. There are some parts where it just sounds over processed, versus like in your song, Peter, Walls Don't Talk, like where you can like really get to hear just his voice. I feel like it's like on this song and a few of the others, like it's a little bit too much.
I don't know. I live for the hella processization of
You
vocals.
do.
Well, this is just in comparison to like the rest of his discography. Like I feel like
sure.
this is really
Like the last album. Yeah.
a nice little side quest. Like it doesn't necessarily fit in with the like Peaches or Rover or.
Yeah, I think, almost every song off of this album I enjoy as an intellectual, not
As
to,
an
like,
intellectual.
well, it's funny because they're the songs you bang, you slam
Oh.
in the club, but
Yeah.
these, nothing in here I think is club worthy, but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna like it. So all these songs. Were you guys hating on Adult Swim? Sorry, I didn't catch last week's episode. Were you guys-
Yes. It's just underwhelming.
I like that song.
Yeah?
I like it.
What do you
Yeah.
like about it?
It's fun. It sounds very SM reminiscent of like maybe like, I don't know, stuff that we might hear from NCT 127, NCT Dream, but with Kai as the vocal anchor and fun and bright, but with like a heavy lower and like bass line, and I don't know. I like it. Sorry if I'm sounding
No, it's okay.
repetitive, but like I do like it when Kai goes lower in his voice.
Oh,
there
me
are just
too.
those moments where it's just like when he goes lower and when
That's
his
where he
voice
belongs.
right on, Stephanie.
Down on your knees. Sorry.
Whoa. Okay.
Anyways.
but like not only when he's lower, but like when he's lower and you're hearing like the processization of his voice in those lower tones, where it sounds like if you were to, I'm trying to think how I can like describe this in a coherent way to the listeners, but like usually in a lot of like audio production, you've got like multiple tracks, for each like quote unquote layer. Like think of like layers of a cake, right? And like you've got like multiple layers. For each layer is like a single quote unquote instrument or sound. But now imagine doing that for like multiple layers for like a single person. And so you have like multiple layers of Kai stacked on top of each other. And there's a layer of Kai where there's like a flanger, like a distortion underneath like his natural voice. And it's that combination of those two things together that I really like. And that flanger effect is really light. You have to like really listen for it to really notice it.
Yeah, I don't think I caught that, so I'll have to give it another listen, I guess.
For science.
For science purposes. I'll also have to watch that music video for science.
Yeah.
Oh yes, for purely science purposes.
All right, I think that wraps it up for our what do you call it? The Kai Grand Slam Triple Home Run Hit Replay Review section. We are so glad he is back from the military. Can't wait for his tour to come to the States. Fingers crossed I can make it. And he comes to the Bay. Putting that prayer out there.
Yeah. I'm not holding out hope, I'll be honest.
No.
Just with a lot of the recent tours that have been announced, there have been only Asia stops for a lot of these things.
I feel like they announced the Asia stops first and then they're going to confirm the North America. I hope so. If they end with just the Asia tour, I'll be so mad. I was already robbed once of seeing Kai live. Remember, I will never shut up about the Campfire Festival. Okay, it's actually Camp LA. But yeah, Kai was supposed to perform solo there. I get there was no Kai in sight.
Listeners, if you don't know what the Campfire is, go to our previous episode all about it.
Yeah, KAMP. It was a dumpster fire. But Kai has to make it up to me personally. Anyways, speaking of K-pop coming to the US and the pros and cons and challenges and all of that. We are in the middle of Coachella, y'all. We just finished the second weekend of Coachella and had K-pop representing. And we're about to get into, what we thought of the performances and what it means for K-pop going forward.
Well, hang on. Maybe let's go back in time just a little bit.
Yeah.
K-pop and Coachella, these are not novel neighbors.
Not the first time.
To quote a certain member of Epic High, Epic High has been paving the way. Those who paved the way. Epic High was the very first group.
True.
To first K-pop or Korean Hallyu group to perform at Coachella, going back to, what was it, 2006?
2016.
2016?
Well.
Fact check.
Allegedly, I have
Check
to double check on my sources for this one. But back in 2011, the husband-wife duo EE allegedly was the first Korean artist to perform at Coachella.
Who? Okay.
You'll know. I think most people know EE from the Buku Buku cipher. They're like the first two people in the beginning, and then Busy, and then Tasha, and then RM. So I think that's where most people know them from. But they had been doing like really weird, like indie music in Korea for years. But according to some sources that I found, they are the first technically Korean artists to perform at Coachella.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough.
Are they K-pop?
But
yeah, they're technically not K-pop, but
yeah,
just saying.
I got you. No,
sure, on the technicality. Yeah, okay. But I think this conversation is relevant today because, listeners have suggested it before. Like, why is K-pop and Western collabs a thing now? Like, is K-pop becoming mainstream? Is it still K-pop if it's at Coachella? And certainly this is, again, as we've been discussing, not the first time that we've seen K-pop at Coachella, but it seems like we're kind of building on a precedent where K-pop idols, acts, performances are becoming more and more, in the ranking, the letters are bigger,
yeah, Coachella has like a bajillion artists, and so when you see the poster or the list of who's performing, obviously the headliners in a bigger font, and then it goes down to like microscopic size to see all the other bands. And yeah, like Peter says, we actually have had a K-pop headliner. Blackpink headlined one of the weekends or one of the days. And so we're kind of getting to K-pop being a staple at Coachella year after year, might I say.
Yes. So to really quickly name drop some previous acts we've seen at Coachella. Big Bang was supposed to make a
Wait a minute.
at 1 year, but then that was canceled because I think that was COVID. I can't remember what year.
Yeah, 2020.
But
COVID and other things, really.
Yeah, well, right. Maybe that was for the best that it didn't happen. And then we've had Le Seraphim last year, and that was this hot item of discussion. You mentioned Blackpink, but who else?
ATEEZ last year brought down the
ATEEZ,
house.
that was a big one.
So hot. Jackson Wang also in 2023. And then remember the 88 Rising showcase that included a 21 reunion on stage?
Oh, yes.
Like CL doing solo
That's
stuff
right.
too.
That was big.
aespa also that year. 2022 is huge.
Yes.
That was a landmark moment. Yeah.
Given this trajectory, I think I feel confident to say that 2026 we will see just as many, if not more, K-pop idols and groups, and in probably more prominent quote unquote stages at Coachella, in bigger font on the marquee flyer. So that's just a quick primer for why we're discussing K-pop at Coachella.
Well, it just For me, it's interesting that you say like prominent stages, because like looking at least what we've seen from this year, so 2025, we saw a majority of the acts performing at the Sahara stage at Coachella,
Yeah.
and versus one act, Jenny, only performing at the outdoor theater, which is the older stage next to the main stage at Coachella. But the Sahara stage is actually the second biggest stage. So you have the main stage where you have, the biggest fonts go.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the Sahara where the smaller fonts go.
Yeah.
And then the outdoor theater where the even smaller fonts go. But the Sahara is the newest, one of the newer stages. And it's one of the ones that can handle the biggest productions. So this year it was really interesting to see how each of the 4 artists used that production, because it really was a range from Lisa to XG, to be honest, where XG
it was like
using
Lisa versus everyone else.
the least amount of production on the Sahara
budget,
stage for
man.
Lisa using as much as she could.
Yes.
All right, so yeah,
Let's get
maybe,
into it.
Yeah. Just to recap really quickly for the listeners. So for this year, we had again Lisa, Jenny, and Hypen, XG. Is there anyone I'm forgetting?
No,
That's it.
Or
As
not
far
worth
as just the
remembering.
4 for K-pop. I mean, Rosé
Okay.
was there. There were people that were there, but they
But
weren't
not
performing.
Right. Okay. So, yes. Just to go off of what Michaela just said, there was a spectrum. On the super high end of production, you had Lisa. I think without a doubt, everyone.
Yes.
I was blown away.
Yeah.
Truly blown away by everything that Lisa did
I felt so
at Coachella.
proud.
And it converted me on things I was not expecting to be converted on because of her performance at Coachella. And then I think at the other end of the spectrum, you have K-pop idols just treating it like another stop. Like, when you're in Korea and you have to
Music bank.
travel really quickly
Or-
between, even less in Music Bank, right? Like, you don't even get your own set. It's just more like, let's just jump in our
get out on the
costume,
stage
do
in our
our
costume.
choreography that we do every stop, and then there'll be video of us on the big screen behind us. Like that's
Yeah.
on the lowest end. Like no backup dancers, just the dancers of the group itself.
Sure.
So I think you had XG and a little bit of Hypen on that end of the spectrum.
Yeah, not really doing a Coachella scale magnitude performance.
And then in the middle, I guess you kind of had Jenny. She had lots of backup dancers, and then I don't know. Like the delta between Jenny and Lisa was 80%. It was huge. It was.
How did this happen?
But I'm surprised that you guys are surprised. From Stephanie, from our album review of Lisa, we talked about this. Her and the difference between Lisa as a performer and Jenny as a performer is Lisa is all about stage presence, all about.
Well, we can talk. We can get into the stage presence and the we're definitely going to get into that. But there's just a delta in terms of budget, I think, or production quality.
Oh, hugely.
Okay.
Between Lisa, Jenny, and who are the 1 and 2, and then the groups way down below. I guess. Yeah. Who I would love behind the scenes of how those decisions got made. Who is approving the budget for the different artists? Are they competing against each other? Is anyone sharing budget? I don't know. I guess they're all from different sources.
Lisa is living her. La Lisa is living her best
La best la life.
with
That
La
is
Loud.
clear.
La
Yeah, I
Loud pulled
guess
out
so.
all the stops.
Yeah,
For
millions
Lisa.
of dollars, I'm sure.
And I think, look, the way, if I had to hazard a guess, without actually knowing the truth of the matter,
Yeah.
I think these other K-pop labels and production companies treated it like, this is an expensive trip. We're not a main stage. Let's make an appropriate level of investment. Let's just, have the usual, managers and people that take care of their travel and whatnot go out and support them. But we're not going to put a lot into production because that's going to cost us a lot.
And it's kind of how they treat U.S. tours as well. The delta
Right.
between performances at the stadiums in Seoul versus what they bring over here, which is just the bodies.
right, and the costuming and whatnot. So,
Sure.
Loud, they're like, this is our one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, if we have to die on the stage, you know, we're gonna die with no regrets. Like, we're gonna give it our all. We're gonna like throw everything in the kitchen sink at this performance because we know that Coachella is like a pop culture moment. You know, in where we are as a society, where millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, you know, define the culture. And, you know, we need to be a big driving force in that. Like, that was the impression I got. And I would
capitalizing off of Lisa's White Lotus, the timing of Lisa being
all
in
those
White Lotus,
things.
trying to capture those people, probably.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're starting to see the effects and the rewards, the downstream impact of everything that Loud has been doing. And, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. Like, all these, I don't know if you guys discussed it on the Lisa episode, but like all these things we're seeing were like months of pre-briefs or interviews done before the actual drop of the album. And then all those things, all those items, like, you know, the embargo was set for exactly this time, this day, or they had a cascading set. Like, it was like, okay, hot, what is it? We eat the hot chicken show, but
Hot Ones.
Hot Ones, like Hot Ones, you're first. You know, your embargo is this, and then like you know, Soupy or whatever it was, like your embargo is this, and then so you saw like there was a very deliberate, at least as a PR professional,
rollout, you can tell.
deliberate cascading, and they were also tiering it in a different way, and you can also tell which ones are recorded like, you know, months in advance versus like, you know, just a couple of weeks before, like, you know, the day before sort of thing. So this I'm sure was on their like roadmap for a long time, and they were like trying to. This feels like a climax of like Lisa's promotion efforts. You know, going back, you know, pre-debut, getting or not pre-debut, pre-album drop, to now, and I'm sure this was part of the campaign plan that they pulled together. Across all of these performances, though, what did XG have it? I couldn't tell because I was like watching like poorly done fan cams of XG's performance from this last weekend. But they all had live bands, right? Like live drumming, live instrumentals.
If XG had a band, you couldn't see them on stage. Like
Or
you could
hear
maybe what sounded from the song, you know, the poor quality songs that I heard, it sounded like live band mixes or remixes of their songs. But again, there was nobody else on that stage but them and the LEDs.
Right.
So I think what I like about almost all of the Coachella performances is just that, you know, it gives you another way to like reimagine, reinterpret the artist, even the songs that you're already familiar, a way to like, you know, bring new life into the music. And you know, we also saw a lot of things that were reimagined and redone, you know, specific to the stage, such as adjusting the choreography, adjusting the sets, you know, adjusting the intros. I think the intros was a very big thing. So
Lisa's intro, wow.
That was like,
epic.
Yeah, it set the bar, you know,
Yes.
like it set a new bar for how you do a proper intro.
Sure.
I would say Jenny did, you know, Jenny's team invested a bit in her intro as well.
Yeah,
but when we just to sorry, maybe to make it like abundantly clear to the listeners, when we say intro, we're referring to the moment right before the idol goes on stage. Like the idol is not yet on stage, but you need to create this anticipation, this tension. You like, you know, you can't have like, you know, bangers like this is something that you hear me complain about like newbie DJs all the time, where they just play bangers like right out the gate, and then you just come desensitized to the thing. Like you know, you can't. Sorry to be crass here. You can't like shoot your load right at the beginning. You know, you have to. You have to like build it up Sorry, like I just had
Okay, yeah.
a vasectomy recently,
Yep,
so this
we
is
know.
all top of mind. But anyway, TMI. Anyway, like that tension, like is part of the experience, and you don't realize it, but it makes you feel like, oh, I'm about to enjoy something big. I'm about to enjoy something transformative. I'm about to enjoy something that's gonna be like, you know, what do the Gen Z kids say nowadays? No, I forget, but like it whatever they say by moment, like
No idea.
the new thing.
Yeah.
So, and a good intro will like draw out that tension. You know, you'll see teases, motifs of maybe like it's almost like back in the old school days of when you'd have like musicals and you'd have like the intro melody of like, all the songs. You hear like the motifs of all the songs that you'd hear across the rest of the musical. It's almost like that, but in a way that like builds tension. Like a lot of like reverberary samples and like maybe like a bass chord progression that follows, or a bass lines that follow the chord progression of the songs, but is like slightly reimagined and, not too heavy, but like, you can feel like the tension knob is being, turned up to the right. And then once you've gotten to like a sufficient state, then the idol starts walking onto the stage, and then everyone gets like even more hyped than if
elevated on a platform into the air.
Yes,
That's what
exactly.
Lisa was doing.
Yeah, and these things are so important, right? Like, it's what's not that's the lack of the idol's presence that can really do a lot to once the idol is on the stage. It makes it a big moment. So
building anticipation.
I think we definitely saw that with Lisa's intro and a little bit with Jenny's, and then there are others I don't know, but
yeah,
so you
not
didn't
as
watch
much
the
on
N-hyphen one?
Yeah, how was the N-hyphen one? I just saw clips of their performances. I couldn't really find the real
like the
intro.
the first part. I would say in our scale that we've created from Lisa to XG, I would say that N-hyphen is like right below Lisa in production scale.
Oh, okay.
One, they were also on the Sahara stage, so they also had access to more production. Versus Jenny, who was limited by being on the outdoor theater stage. Again, with the live band on stage, all of their 12 brown dancers, like they were
melanin
just,
on the stage.
They really took advantage of all of the tools that they had available.
Right. Yeah, I really enjoyed how the live band enhanced N-hypen's performances. Yeah.
I like EXO. Like
EXO, yeah.
Like for some reason, the live performance of EXO felt lighter and the instrumental accompaniment.
Yeah.
And that's a song that I think is just very vocal forward to begin with. And like, I don't know, just having that focus in a live environment, really, I like the live version better than the original, like studio version of EXO from N-hypen.
Yeah, it just sounded completely different. I felt like I could appreciate it in a new way too. What I didn't appreciate as much was their Bite Me performance. I feel like
that was really flat. Yeah.
I was like, I was really looking forward to this, but their energy just plummeted. They weren't doing the dance. I was like, oh man.
The dance is what defined that song.
Yes. And they couldn't, they had handheld mics, so they couldn't do like the hand on the neck thing as cleanly, and I don't know, it just felt like that part of the set, the energy was low. They couldn't carry it forward.
It's like, don't even do that song if you can't execute on it,
Exactly. Yeah. Shout out to Heesung and Nikki and also Sunu and Jay. Like I saw their effort in their performance being like really high.
I kind of just want to gush about Lisa. Can we just like do like a major Lisa
rewind.
gush? Okay. So it was like a moment to convert people.
Yes.
And like that, Loud knew that. And I'm seeing comments from people like, what is, I guess, common is during these transitions, like usually around the intro, that's when people are shuffling between stages, right? It's like, I just saw the last act, I'm going to move over to this next one. So for La Lisa, there was a bunch of people, leaving, from the previous performer, about to go to another one, but we're stuck because of all the Lisa fans, trying to get in. And so they just decided to stay, and the people who did decide to stay did not regret it. And I think that's what you want. At least that's what I'm seeing from the comments in it. But what stood out to me was with Lisa's performance, it took advantage of the stage in like multiple ways. So like it was a very wide stage. And that's like when you're seeing like performances of Coachella, like I'm always shocked and surprised by like just how big this actual studio space or this concert space is. It's like this, I don't know what the head count is for like the number of Coachella attendees, but it seems like it's in the hundreds of thousands. It's like it's
At
ridiculously huge. And so it's a very wide stage, and then it's also a very tall stage, and the backdrop, and then like the cover overhead.
Each day of Coachella sees an average of 125,000 attendees each day.
There you go.
Ooh.
And it seemed like you could have had like 100,000 people on that watching that stage with Lisa. So the dancers took advantage of all that. Like, there was not just the regular choreography, which would have you only, I don't know, do at any other stage, or you might watch in these like dance performance videos. This was something that they knew that they were going for, like almost like operatic.
Yes, a theatrical
production. Yeah.
Yeah. Making use of the space, different levels, people being on the stairs or in the air, like getting on the floor. Yes, I remember all of that.
People crawling.
Being electrocuted during Thunder when she was electrocuting the dancers and they were shaking. Oh, I love that.
And that, that was choreography that was done probably only for that stage, only for that concert. That we're, probably not going to get in another concert. I don't know if Lisa goes on tour, but
she's poised to go on tour with this if she wants to.
Yeah, but it just seemed like it was something that was done specifically for this stage, and I think that really shows versus all the other groups. I think especially with Jenny, like there were some tweaks to Jenny's choreography, but not nearly to the same degree that we saw with Lisa. To the point of that like theatrical part, like it was almost like seeing Lady Gaga's performance, where like she had people like pretending to be quote unquote monsters or chess pieces or things writhing in the sand. Like you had that same storytelling and production with Lisa's performance, and we don't get that in K-pop.
We don't.
And I think this is like really transformative
Blame
for
TikTok.
K-pop. Oh yeah, because everyone needs to do their point TikTok dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to fit in this one frame and just do like moves that are as small as can fit in a screen.
Right. And it's tricky because when the human body is only so big, right? And you have such a ridiculously huge stage that is both wide and tall. How do you like make up for that space? So one way was certainly through all those dancers on the stage with Lisa. Two was also through the setting. So there were times where like Lisa was up on a pole thing, like I don't know what the
like a
term
platform.
is.
Yeah.
A platform, yes, like an elevated platform. To go up and down. Visually, they totally utilize that big, huge ass screen behind her.
Yeah.
Where it's not just like, let me give you a raw camera feed of Lisa. Like they added all these effects to accentuate the moments. Either adding lyrics or I don't know, just random visuals behind her, in addition to showing her, but tastefully showing her on that big screen. I think unlike other K-pop stages, I'm thinking of like Music Bank, that sort of thing, where they will have pyrotechnics that like usually surprise the idols and is usually like a little too much for the tiny interior stage space that they shoot
a bit
in.
much. Yeah.
I felt like there was just the right level and right tasteful use of pyrotechnics in Lisa's stage, and also like really good use of lighting throughout that took advantage of all that vertical space above her as well. And then Lastly, what I'll say about her stage is that she had
Costumes?
this. Oh, costumes! I didn't even get there. Sorry.
Oh
I
my
guess
gosh.
next to last, there was also a halo
Yes.
above her throughout, and like that was like the center, the anchor point. And
Mhm.
you know, like in terms of like how complicated that halo looked, it's not very complicated, but it was a very big prop. But I think did a lot in framing the stage,
Yeah.
especially when there's all this like vertical visual real estate above the idol. So
Yeah. It was a prop that gave you bang for your buck.
absolutely,
It was
Yeah, yeah.
functional. Yeah, form and
So-
function.
But to go to your point on the costuming, oh my god,
Yeah.
Lisa just like
Okay,
every
so
song, every
every
song,
song.
new costume, new outfit,
an
completely
incredible
different.
costume. Mhm.
Really good costuming. Like
Yeah. The
tailored,
first costume,
you know-
like the reptilian bodysuit for
She was
Fuck
like-
Up the World.
Like a freaking dragon queen. Like it was
Wow.
amazing.
Yes, I'm like, okay, Khaleesi, I buy it. And then even for Chill, like a B-side that's like low key, she was in like a light up fairy costume that was also really unique and fun to watch. Like every detail. So
Yeah.
much work put into it. Yeah.
And like also, yeah, the way I think you were saying, like you'd have one costume on and then you transform it
Mhm.
on stage. Like that's a lot. That's
Yeah.
not a cheap thing to do, people. Like that, you know, that and to have it like perfectly tailored to your body as well. There were times where
Oh,
I was
yeah.
looking at like Jenny's costuming. I was like,
Mm,
it's her size, but it's not flattering. You know,
Mhm.
like I don't know. It just
Her
didn't
shorts.
seem like. Yeah, that's exactly what
I had
without
same
saying it, we
thought.
were thinking the same
we're
thing.
on
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
page. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Lisa's outfits were perfectly fitted and flattering to her shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we shift to Jenny, or was there? What do we think about Lisa's quality of singing, rapping, dancing up there? Because like we're getting to this question of how do these K-pop stars compare to Western global superstars, right? Does Lisa's like skills there stack up?
Well, if you're on TikTok, you would say no.
Right. That's what I'm hearing.
Because a majority of the reviews of her vocal performance have been negative.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't.
No one's
super
really going
awesome.
home talking about like, wow, Lisa's singing. Wow, she really hit all those notes and had breath control and belted out. She relied on the backing track a fair amount. But she brought a lot of stage presence, charisma, dancing, like strength and power in the form. So it almost makes up for it more than some other artists. But yeah, I think she could train a little bit more on the live singing to actually deliver her raps. Like her raps are so powerful, but it's like she ran out of breath a lot and let the backing track do the rap.
I didn't think it was bad,
It's not, yeah,
Right.
a failure.
but it wasn't great.
It wasn't like, oh wow, she's doing it.
Right.
It's like, okay, she's playing it
it
safe
was passable.
here. Yeah,
In
just
terms
enough.
of like vocal performance,
Mhm.
and that is especially contrasted
Oh,
with Jenny.
ah!
Oh my god, that was.
I feel like
so
we've been
bad.
talking about Jenny already, but we might as well just dive right in. Oh, Jenny. Oh, Jenny.
So
'Cause-
hard.
okay.
Because I love the song so much.
Yeah,
do.
her songs are amazing.
I love them so much. I love both of the albums that they put out so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she just
it is
can't
weird.
catch a break.
Like with Lisa, there were B-sides that were being played that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
And I heard it live. I was like, "Oh my god, this song is so good! Like, chill,
Chill.
like chill.
Yeah. I was
Like,
what is this?
and that's a good song now, right? Like, listening to it in that live setting, and then also like "Fuck Up the World," like hearing the accentuated
Hey.
crashes in that, like that was really really good. And then you contrast that with Jenny, and there were songs that we all love from Jenny,
that we were looking
like
forward
Jenny.
to.
and
Extra
then,
large.
extra L, yeah.
Yeah.
And then that song goes on, and because Jenny isn't singing, it's just silent, and then all you hear is just the instrumental, and it makes you think, is something wrong? It was like, did someone fall on the stage? Is everyone okay? Because it gave me that pause.
Yeah,
watching
that's not
and
a
listening
good pause.
to it, right? Because I was like, I genuinely thought something was wrong on stage, and no, it was just Jenny catching her breath or something. I don't know.
She did that a lot. And Jenny is like an early bias of mine. She's so, man, I so want to root for her. And I was just like watching how she moved on the stage, and she just seemed like limp
Yeah.
a lot. She wasn't sending like tone into her muscles to move. And I was like asking myself, is this intentional? Does she really want to look like she doesn't, like this is effortless, she doesn't care? Because it's not landing with me. Like she would adjust her hair a lot. She would take moments to adjust her hair, and like when she's not singing and she's doing some dances, she would sometimes look off to the side into the distance, like whatever, like she's marking the choreography. And contrast that with Lisa, who's like always smiling or always making some face. She's always engaging the audience. Jenny was not doing any of that, and that really matters.
Jenny's too used to being pretty, getting away with that. Like honestly, I think
Ouch.
people are just, she got away with. In my theory
Being
is
the
that she
it
just
girl.
she got accustomed to that, and that being enough.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought it was funny. So we were talking about intros,
Yeah.
and then people will say stuff like Coachella, let's go, or whatever, right? and then you've got Jenny's like intro. She's hyped up, right? And then she says something like, "Come on, it's gonna be fucking hard," and that sounds like something I would say as a really bad DJ, which I've definitely done. I'll own that.
Yo.
But it definitely felt wonky, like almost like Soyeon lyrics in a rap, like where
in
it's
her,
like,
her delivery, because that is the intro to the song.
It is. It's the official intro to the song. Yeah. But like,
I guess you're right.
yeah, whoever's writing the lyrics is not really in the culture like that. I was just talking to someone about that today, that whoever's writing a lot of Jenny's like little one-off lines and lyrics, they're just not in it. That's cringe.
I don't know. Yeah, now that you say that, it's funny because I remember playing around with that sample, not even realizing what that sample was saying. But I think because the way it was delivered, I was reading it, interpreting it one way. But when Jenny said it, it's like she didn't know which persona.
She doesn't know what she's saying, or like, what she's trying to give off, convey with that.
Right. So it just felt very awkward and embarrassing. There was like obligatory cheers, but I felt like, I don't know, a little cringe.
Oh, sad. Yeah, and her costumes. I liked the big red Western outfit, like with the jacket. That was cute. But when she's not wearing very much, that didn't do it for me, because it wasn't flattering her shape. She looked like a little kid up there, sadly. Yeah. I know we're rooting for you. I know Jenny has like this X factor. I want to watch her. But I hated like when she first started going out and performing, and people would trash her, drag her for being lazy Jenny. And I was like, hey, leave my bias alone. But now I like, I kind of can't deny it as I'm seeing it for myself. I don't know what's going on. I think it's what you're saying, Peter, that it's kind of gotten to her head that she shouldn't have to try, that this is what people love her for.
Well, I don't think she thinks that she doesn't have to try. It's just that the bar that has been set for her, she's come accustomed to how people just naturally react.
She keeps
to
getting
engage with her.
opportunities,
Yes.
even though she performs this way.
And it doesn't help
yeah.
that literally on the stage, right next to her, is Megan Thee Stallion doing what she does the best, putting her whole body into the performance.
Oh, yes. I know, doing athletic feats. Yeah, compare those two.
just in that one, the comparison of like what we expect from a Western artist's performance and production versus what we saw with Jenny.
Yeah. Yeah, would we accept this?
I think for K-pop to make it, we need Lisa.
I guess
Lisa
so.
style production.
Yes.
Or just a completely different paradigm for how they show up on stage.
Yeah, we've been saying
Or what I would hate to happen is that K-pop fans start to outnumber regular Coachella attendees, and then their baseline for what's good is like the K-pop Western tour format, and they get excited by that because we can't settle for that. I don't know.
No.
I don't think that's maybe that's not gonna happen. There's too many like Western artists that are gonna set the bar, but like to provide another example, one of the best DJ performances of all time was Daft Punk at Coachella in 2006. Because what Daft Punk did that year, like, completely, like, blew everyone's minds. Like, they reinvented their music by, like, mashing it up in a live format, and they had this, like, big pyramid stage for themselves that, occupied the space and provided presence, and that's what we need. Coachella is the place where you, like, you try to do something overly theatrical.
Yes.
And if you're going to reinvent yourself on that stage.
It's where you shoot for the moon.
Because it's become the, like, I don't know, I've been hearing about people doing, like, microfinance around just trying to finance their trip to Coachella.
Yeah.
And, like, on one hand, that's really sad capitalism. And also, like, I've also been hearing about people like, oh, well, I'm being funded to go to Coachella through this nonprofit organization to help me get this experience. I'm like, okay, this is not an altruistic endeavor.
No.
Like, this is just a capitalistic pop concert.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, it has become that, like, spiritual pilgrimage.
Yeah, you're right.
And so knowing that is the crowd who is going and that is what they believe, even though it is, like, sad capitalism, you have to meet your audience where it is. And that's, I don't know. I just can't see Les Serafin and Hype and XG do this again.
And making the
I
cut.
would love to have the same artists, but just, like, come on, really invest in it. You know?
If we could see them perform like the 2000s, 2010s Mama kind of performances, like, we know they are capable of this scale, like doing something grand scale, but there's something that shifts in the mindset. It's like, oh yeah, we're going over to the US and we'll just do our regular.
Like, do you think labels understand how important Coachella is?
I think not. They must not.
They're like, oh, this is just Lollapalooza. This is
Right.
just Outside Lands.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. Like,
I guess that, they really don't know. All right, so who do we think is going to be invited next year?
aespa.
if Rosé, aespa, yes, I agree.
aespa, yeah.
Because they were people were thinking that they were going to come this year, but they ended up
I
not because
assumed.
they were on tour.
They had some bangers this past year. Okay, yeah, aespa.
Oh, by the way, if aespa does go, they need to do, like, a 12-song remix version of, like, Whiplash.
Oh
Like,
God.
Like, remember when Wonder Girls had their hit "Tell Me," and then and like back in those days, like, they did, like, Renaissance version of "Tell Me,"
Oh,
or like
jeez.
they had, like, rap urban version of "Tell Me," space version of "Tell Me," and they had, like, multiple versions of "Tell Me" all in
Too
one
much.
show.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think we need that for aespa
All right,
at Coachella
you need
with
that.
Whiplash.
I can do without that. but yeah, it will be fun to hear different versions. Okay, so aespa.
I
You know
would
who's
add-
never
okay.
performed at Coachella? BTS.
Yeah.
I wonder if they even want it.
If BTS is going to do it again, they have to do it in like a Lisa way.
Scale.
I think
Yeah.
Jungkook could do it.
You know whose concert I went to recently?
Mm-hmm. J-Hope.
J-Hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
With listeners Sarah and Virginia, and one of my fans just gave me a ticket. I'm like, okay, I'll go. So shout out to Viviana. But that concert was really good. Like J-Hope like really brought the production.
Yep.
It was shy of being a Coachella
Mm.
worthy level performance in terms
Yeah.
of its overall production value. But if they were able to do that with one of the members of BTS, I think they could probably do it. They'd have to give it, that 110%, because I was getting like an 80% from J-Hope.
Mm.
In terms of
It's
production
sad
value.
that that's like coming out to be like the best show of the year, though.
Yeah.
It seems from what people are saying. But that's what we're used to, U.S. K-pop tours. Yeah, who else might be invited to go and like kill it? Do you think anybody from this year will be invited back?
I don't think
I
this
don't
is the
think-
last thing we've seen of Hyphen. I think they really
Yeah.
proved themselves with this performance.
Mm.
But in what way do you mean that, Michaela?
And like I said, if they're second to Lisa in our scale, I feel like one, again, they utilized the production really well. One,
No, they
it was
didn't.
their debut performance
Peter said no, they didn't.
at Coachella. Okay.
They did well for their first. Ever
Yes, less
Coachella.
than Lisa. Yes, I'm not saying that they pulled a Lisa, but in comparison to Jenny and XG, they did a lot for their first time at Coachella. Again, this is their first time going. I feel like we could see them do something even bigger next time.
Yeah, but to perform at Coachella once is an opportunity you don't pass up or you treat as a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really need to bring your A game for Coachella.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just, unless you're on one of the tiny stages and your name is
Right.
like in the tiny font, right?
Okay.
Then
Like
that's fine.
Missy Elliott came on stage as a transformer robot. Like that's the level
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Right. That's what we needed from Enhypen.
Yeah. We needed it to be something for non-K-pop fans to write home about and share it with their friends.
It needed
Like,
more
oh, wow.
vampires. More
Yeah, they coulda
paranormal
done-
romance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. Stray Kids.
Stray Kids, yes.
Yeah,
Stray Kids could do it.
They do a great performance. Yeah. I'm like,
Stray Kids
who
could do
won
it.
Kingdom? You know?
The kings of K-pop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a fourth or, fifth gen group
Fifth gen?
that could maybe do Coachella, and it's really hard.
Nah, you need to prove yourself a little bit before being invited over there.
You know what XG should have done? They dressed the part, but they did not deliver the Kiari Pamu Pamu.
Oh, yes.
Aesthetic and production. Like
Right.
that was their lane, and they could
Yeah.
have filled it so well at Coachella. Like that would
I
have
was
been
so
eaten up by the
disappointed.
Coachella attendees.
Right.
But all they had was just the costuming to
just
give
the
us.
costumes. Yeah, you need the whole. Yeah. I remember seeing the shooting star performance at Coachella, and I was just like, oh, this is really not the same. Just thinking back to the music video, how much is going on visually.
Yeah, like what is shooting star in real life?
Yes,
Like,
make it happen for us in real life as the audience.
Right.
Mm,
So anyway, to your question, Stephanie.
yeah.
If Rosé produces another banger album this quarter, then I think Rosé might come back as a solo performer.
Kayla's
if
shaking
not-
her head.
No. Oh, you know who I also would say
Who?
on a tiny font stage?
Uh-huh.
I don't even know what the different stages are called.
Who?
But Chungha.
Oh, Chungha. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. She might not be a tiny font stage if it's like what 88 Rising did, and she's brought on as part of a showcase. The showcase was on the main stage.
Yeah. I could see her coming in with that. What if MVP? Yeah, do you think Jay Park's More Vision project could get the deal that 88 Rising did and like bring a bunch of people.
Ooh.
That would be fun. I don't know if they have those kind of connects.
AOMG reunion.
I saw AOMG is brewing something. They're coming back this year.
I don't know if I have confidence in like Jay Park
As a person.
Well, just as a team.
Yeah.
Like, you know, to lean into the production.
That's true. Yeah, he hasn't really shown us that.
I think I'm bullish on Stray Kids.
Bullish on Stray Kids? Okay.
I think the Stray Kids could do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And BTS, some kind of presence, if they tried.
If they try. I'm worried that BTS just isn't going to try.
They're just not going to try. They're over it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Unless it's like the first time they performed together.
Oh.
Like Big Bang. That's what Big Bang was
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Like they were going to do, like they have the Big Bang, except it's BTS this time.
See, that's what I would like. Big Bang minus that one guy.
Yeah, Seungri.
Yeah.
Or
You gotta
even just
convince
G-Dragon.
TOP to come back.
Well, see, that's what the Coachella performance would be. It'd be that one time TOP comes back.
Yeah, he would
And
come
he comes
for
back
that.
like, you know, in 2001 A Space Odyssey. Like he comes
Yeah,
down like
in a
off the
literal
moon
spaceship.
in a space suit, like sort of thing.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. We've manifested, we've put out our prayers for our dream Coachella performances and reunion. Some hits, some misses, some hope for the future. Is K-pop mainstream?
I think it is, but K-pop has been handed this opportunity, but they don't know how great the opportunity they've been given. So they're like fumbling in execution. But it'll probably still persevere despite it.
We'll continue to see K-pop invited back, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're gonna welcome our girl Navis.
No. Navis
Next
is
year.
banned.
How
No
bad would
AI
that be? How bad would that be? Like everyone's like so hyped for aespa, and then they do like a Navis
God,
stage,
some
and then everyone just
hologram.
leaves.
Everyone would leave.
Hatsune Miku would outperform Navis.
Oh, yeah. For sure. All right. Let's wrap it up then, y'all, by letting our listeners know where they can find us on the socials.
I'm at DJ Peterlo.
I'm on Instagram at Catchlight27.
And I met PT Nim on our K-pop cast Slack, and of course you can follow all of us on the K-pop cast Slack.
Also, if you want to support the show, please consider donating to our Ko-fi. Special shout out to contributors Lady Senza and Chelsea H, our newest donor. Yay! Special shout out. If you want us to, highlight you, just head to the link in the description to our Ko-fi and contribute. Thanks.
Who do we not want to see go to Coachella?
Who do we not want to see there?
Yeah, who's like,
Dang.
nah, we're good.
All the canceled ones. I don't know. Like I was about to say Hyuna, but even if Hyuna did something like crazy, sexy, and campy, I'd
You would
probably still
go.
like
You
it.
would want
Yeah.
Would that be her comeback though? Would that be the thing that
no,
revives
she could
her
not
career?
fill a stage. She
I
couldn't
think
fill her own
production-
concert.
Sure, but I think in terms of like in terms of concepts, who is right for like over the top production, it is Hyuna. Like
It's
She
Hyuna.
I'm
does
thinking
go
of,
there.
her song Red. Remember how like
Yeah.
she was like straddling a big banana, and then there was like monkeys and
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's the sort of thing I think that would work well on a Coachella
Imagine it's
stage.
like the AT's tentacle, but the banana
Oh, God. Oh, God.
on the stage.
That would be a fun crossover. You go
Yeah.
from AT's, swashbuckling time traveler pirates, and then they could transition over to the Tijuana in
Yeah.
sexy camp world.